I-77 exit 28, LakeNormanChrysler.com.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Special weather announcement this evening. There is an increased fire danger until about 7 p.m. this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with that low temperature around 38 degrees. Wednesday is going to be a little bit chillier. We're all going to be mostly cloudy and that high temperature only getting up near 57. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Hi, this is Joshua Dobie. Join me Thursdays at 4 p.m. for Dollars and Cents, a show that focuses on your personal financial journey and the markets around us. That's Dollars and Cents, Thursday afternoons at 4 here on WSIC.
All right, everyone. Hello. Welcome. You are listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. 105.9, 100.7 FM. Video to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website, WSICnews.com. 704-873-1400 is the phone number if you have something that you'd like to talk about with me today. We're covering a lot of stuff today. Sports. We got, let's see. High school football playoffs still going on. We will be talking about that. We got basketball starting in high school as well as NBA action going on. Today is a Tuesday. In November, that means in-season tournament games. We'll talk a little bit about that. A Monday night football game last night, not the result we expected. And also hockey, as always. Panthers. Not the Florida Panthers. The Hurricanes. They're doing all right. See if we have any injury updates. We'll get to that if we have time at the end of the season. But first, yesterday, Monday, we talked about some of the local teams that we were following in high school for the football playoffs. Mooresville eliminated, Statesville High School eliminated. Those were the only two that we've been covering for the past few weeks who were still remaining in the playoffs. They lost, unfortunately, on Friday, but the playoffs still going on. We are into the third round of the playoffs, and I just want to go through the matchups here in the third round in the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A division. Keep everybody in the loop as to what's going on. We're only going to talk about the west side of the bracket, though, because the east side of the bracket is just, it's too far away. Why do we have to concern ourselves with that? Starting in 1A, the lowest division there is, the 1 seed Robbinsville still in the tournament here. They take on Swain County. That's the 9 seed. Mountain Heritage takes on North Rowan. That's a 5 seed against a 4 seed. Pretty much chalk in this version of the bracket here. The top right is what it is on the website in the West. Moving on now, we have a little bit of a surprise. East Randolph football, the 3 seed, will be taking on Thomasville on Friday. Monroe taking on Bunker Hill. Community School of Davidson out there in Davidson, the 3 seed this year. They pretty much handled everyone they've played so far. Lexington by a score of 38-16, and then East Surrey by a score of 25-18. So not the biggest blowouts, but also not real nail biters in these games. They take on the 11 seed Forest Hill, who upset the 6 seed Randleman last week on Friday. And the final one, Salisbury, the 2 seed, taking on Shelby, the 7 seed. That pretty much remaining chalk on this side of the bracket. 3A, unfortunately, this is where we get into the teams in the area who have been eliminated. Most recently, Statesville lost 28-16 to Crest. Well, Crest, as the 1 seed, now goes to take on West Charlotte. West Charlotte, the 8 seed, as they've been able to handle business here in the playoffs, only allowing 8 points in 2 games. And then Robinson, the 5 seed, heading over to Dudley. Dudley in first round brought the hammer down on West Iredell to eliminate them from the playoffs. 63-14. And not only that, after the first round for Dudley, they went on to face Central Davidson and beat them by a score of 48-6. So over 100 points scored in 2 playoff games for Dudley. That's going to be one to keep an eye on. Moving on, West Henderson, the 3 seed, taking on East Grove. And then AC Reynolds plays the undefeated Hickory squad. Hickory has scored 99 points in 2 games. They beat Huss by a score of 51-32, and then North Lincoln 48-28. And they have been rolling all season long. Nobody really getting in their way as they continue on this unbeaten streak. And now for the big dogs in the area, the 4A division, the 1 seed Weddington, still in it. They will be taking on, get this, 24 seed Charlotte Catholic. Charlotte Catholic beat Myers Park 42-24 in round 1. Nobody saw that coming. At least I didn't see that coming. And then in the second round, a real nail-biter, TC Robertson against Charlotte Catholic. That final score, 24-21. Moving on, Huff High School. They're in the area. They take on Grimsley. That's a 4 seed against a 5 seed. Mount Tabor takes on Butler. And finally, Watauga, the 2 seed, has another surprise to take on here. 23 seed Independence. Now remember, Independence played 10 seed Lake Norman to start the playoffs. They blanked them 35-0, then went on to beat the 7 seed East Forsyth. And now they have a date with Watauga, the 2 seed. There's some magical runs still going on in the high school area. So we don't want to just forget about it because the teams that we've been covering are no longer in it. We're going to continue to let you know who's advancing, especially on the west side of the bracket. As we get closer, obviously, to state championships, we'll have to tell you who's playing on the east side of the bracket. We don't concern ourselves with those east people, though. They're foreigners, basically, right? Right? Yeah, get behind that one. So congratulations and good luck to all of the high school athletes going out there this Friday. Playoff games will be continuing, and it's always like a thing where if you're playing high school football around Thanksgiving, you had a really good season. You win this week, you'll be playing football around Thanksgiving. So congratulations to all the teams that are still in it, and we'll continue covering. We'll talk a little bit of high school basketball here on the return because on Friday, most of these games start. Seasons are beginning. North Iredell, South Iredell, West Iredell, Statesville, Mooresville, Lake Norman. One season ends, another one begins. We'll talk about the opening games on the other side of the break. You are listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Stay with me. We got a lot coming up still. We're back right after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Santa is coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, beer garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party, this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award-winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Special weather announcement this evening. There is an increased fire danger until about 7 p.m. this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with that low temperature around 38 degrees. Wednesday is going to be a little bit chillier. We're all going to be mostly cloudy and that high temperature only getting up near 57. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Make your work easier with Eagle Rentals of Troutman and Statesville. Eagle Rentals has generators, heaters, fans, painting equipment, floor care equipment, pressure washers, lighting equipment, and lawn care equipment. Plus, Eagle Rentals has construction equipment like forklifts, bobcat loaders, backhoes, excavators, and more. Reserve online at eaglerentals.com. That's eaglerentals.com.
Your home for non-stop Christmas music. Starting at 12 a.m. Thanksgiving Day.
Now, more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we are back. You're listening to the Scoreboard still here on WSIC. Segment number 2 of the day. Usually, we would move on to some local, regional, national stuff, but we're going to stick lower divisions here. We're going to stay with the high school scene, still staying local, obviously. We may get to some Panthers today. We may get to some Hornets today. We may even talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. But before anything else, I want to say that this is the week that high school basketball starts in the area. Yes, that's right. It's here. It is no longer around the corner. It's time. So let's go through some of these opening week games. North Iredell and South Iredell will start the year facing off. That game this Friday at 7 o'clock. 7:30. I'm sorry about that. We don't have those football game start times anymore. The bump up from 7 o'clock to 6:30. That was just for football. Basketball, obviously a little different indoors. So North Iredell taking on South Iredell to start their season. Then we have West Iredell, the Warriors. They will be traveling on the road here to Elkin to take them on for their opening game of the season. Late one there, 8 o'clock start time. Statesville High School also opening up their season already, actually. They had a game already against Tabernacle Christian where they did end up winning by a score of 54-53, which means they won't be starting their season this Friday. They actually have a couple of other days to wait here. It looks like their first game of the season is going to be on Monday as they head on the road to Lincolnton. And then they got to play another road game right after that against Mooresville before they come home for their game against North Lincoln. Mooresville, the Blue Devils, they open their season on Friday. They are starting against Concord Academy. That's a road game. It'll be a 6:30 start time. Actually, back-to-back road games for Mooresville before they come home for a stint of 4 games, including a home game against Huff and then Statesville. So, tough season here for Mooresville to start out their high school basketball season. And Lake Norman, well, they got I'm not going to say an easy one because I don't want any disrespect thrown, because I went to the other school that they're playing right now. But Lake Norman takes on Pine Lake Prep for their first game of the season. Don't know who scheduled that one. Interesting decision, but a 4A team going against a 2/1A team to start the year. Pretty nice for Lake Norman, if I say so myself. So we'll be talking about the seasons upcoming, obviously, with basketball, also other winter sports, and then we'll get into baseball season in the spring, covering all of that right here on WSIC. We want to make sure we shout out the local students. So just like we did during football season, if you have a player, a team, a school, a coach, anybody that you want to shout out, read a stat about, or say they did good in their game, give me a call, 704-873-1400. You still can do it for football season. We had a bunch of games in the playoffs in the area. Congratulate someone and say, hey, I know you. You were on this school doing this. Congratulations, good year. We want to make sure we shout out all the local students, or at least as many as we can. Let's stay football before we move on to something else. But now let's go to the bigger scale here. We're going to talk about the Monday night football game. Boy, do I have some thoughts about this one. This was an interesting game. Something's up with the Bills. I think it's time that we admit it. There's something wrong. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're going to be able to fix it. Ken Dorsey got fired following this game, the Bills' offensive coordinator, which means Joe Brady is going to be the interim offensive coordinator in the meantime. This is funny to me. Imagine losing a game on the last second because your special teams couldn't get it together and the offensive coordinator takes the fall for it. Huh? And it was a long time coming, okay? I'm not saying that they shouldn't have made a change because it was time to make a change. But the Bills have the most yards gained with the worst results from those yards games. It's like you either get a touchdown or an interception with the Bills. They don't take any field goals. Like, I don't understand. Maybe it's for the best. Their field goal kicker's having a pretty bad year. But it's like, okay, we're either going to score a touchdown or it's going to be a turnover. And that was a weird score. At one point, we had an 8-6 score. I don't know if there's ever been a football game with that score, but I found it pretty interesting. But that game last night, it was tough. Denver ended up winning that one 24-22 on a last-second field goal. I thought it was a bad decision by Sean Payton at the end of the game. And I know you're going to say, what do you mean? It ended up working. You have a field goal unit that has struggled during the day. They have 2 missed extra points, okay? One of them was missed by the kicker. One of them was fumbled by the holder. So at the end of the game with 20 seconds left, instead of kicking the field goal on 3rd down and saying, all right, cool, the Bills have 15 or 13 seconds, 13 seconds to try and get another field goal and win, and they don't have any timeouts left. Instead of just kicking it in that moment, you say, you know what, we're going to take a knee, and we're going to sprint our offense off the field, sprint the special teams unit onto the field, and try and get the field goal done in time. Okay. I don't like the call. Because you have like I said, you have a field goal kicker who hasn't been doing good. So you're going to make him panic a little bit by running him out there. And, it didn't work. Let's be honest. He missed the field goal. He missed the first one. And then he got saved because as many people in the world that knew they were going to take a knee and run the field goal unit on, the Bills must not have known, because I don't know if their special teams unit was ready. I don't know how you mess that up in that situation, coming off of a timeout where you say, okay, field goal unit, get ready, gather around. Who stayed on that wasn't supposed to? So a tough scene for the Bills. They fall now to 5-5. And when you look at the standings and you look at the playoff picture, here is how it would work right now if the season ended today. The Chiefs would be the number 1 seed in the AFC, followed by the Ravens, Jaguars, and Dolphins. Okay. Then you have the Steelers, Browns, and holy moly, the Texans as the 7 seed right now. Bengals, Colts, the first 2 teams out at 5 wins. And then you have the Buffalo Bills. Behind them are the Raiders. And I know they have a new coach, an interim head coach, and the season didn't get off to the start it was supposed to, but that's a team that's supposed to be good. It is. I know you might think, what, the Raiders, they're supposed to be good? Yeah, they are, and I know they've had quarterback injuries and whatnot, but you have Max Crosby, an elite pass rusher. You have Josh Jacobs, an elite running back, and you have Devontae Adams. That's the formula. Elite, 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 get a quarterback that can get them the ball, and, as much as we say all Jimmy Garoppolo does is win football games, he hasn't been able to do that. So there's pressure from behind. And then you have the Chargers and the Jets right behind. The Jets are not out of the playoffs. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it pretty close. Because when you look at the AFC East standings, Buffalo still has to go on their bye week. So does New England. But the Dolphins have 6 wins. And we've said they are not a team that's very good against very good teams. Well, their upcoming games, they play the Raiders. Okay. Then they play the Jets, okay. The Commanders, okay. Jets again. But then they end the season on 3 really tough ball games. The Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. The good news about that, though, is only one of them is on the road, and that's against Baltimore. But those are 3 games against 3 quality opponents. I'm not going to say that they're going to win out until then, because I don't think that's going to happen, but they're going to keep that division close to the very end. And if Rodgers comes back for 2, 3, 4 games, we could see a Jet comeback and maybe get Wilson did everything that he could. Zach Wilson did everything he could to keep them around, and it works out. This is going to be a crazy race to the finish. And kind of like the MLB season that we just had, it's going to come down to the last day. It always does in the NFL. There's less spots. There's less games. You have to be good all the time. But right now, the AFC playoff picture, it's wide open, as well as the NFC. And we will talk more about the playoff picture in the NFC, although I don't think that it's as wide open, honestly, because you do have a little bit of a separation between the last team in the playoffs and the first team out of the playoffs. But we'll continue to cover all the playoff races. We are going to our commercial break. We will be back right after this. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit of basketball. I want to have a conversation about what's going on in the NBA, and then we'll see what we'll wrap it up with. I'm going to leave it a surprise until then. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard on WSIC. Back after this.
There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Special weather announcement this evening. There is an increased fire danger until about 7 p.m. this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with that low temperature around 38 degrees. Wednesday is going to be a little bit chillier. We're all going to be mostly cloudy and that high temperature only getting up near 57. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. That's 800-430-6748. Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-989-1754. 800-989-1754. 800-989-1754. That's 800-989-1754. Paid for by Term Direct.
Hi folks, Pat Shannon inviting you to join me for the Home Ad Show. We help you sell things, buy things, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and have a lot of fun in the process. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11, here on News Talk WSIC.
ISM just needed a chance. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Panthers at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you have the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change, and mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Panthers.
You can't even call it a cup of coffee. Panthers punt returner Amir Smith-Marsette's time with the Bears amounted to maybe a half shot of espresso. Smith-Marsette spent about a month and a half with Chicago last year. He appeared in 6 games before the Bears released him. Last Thursday, in his biggest moment as a Panther, Smith-Marsette took a punt back 79 yards for a score and did so against the Bears.
I didn't really get a chance with the Bears. They ain't really give me that opportunity. So, of course, I was able to, work my way through it, get to Carolina, and then, given the opportunity, it just so happened to be against the Bears. And, it's good, just to be able to show them what they missed out on, basically.
It was ISM's first career punt return touchdown and the first by a Carolina Panther since Kalen Clay took one back in 2017.
The first dude was there really fast. I just knew I had to make him miss, and then we knew the type of coverage unit they was. They got a lot of empty spaces, so when I seen it, I just made one more cut, and it was they was in pursuit, and I was able to get behind them, and then it was only me and the punter left, and just make sure you don't let the punter get you, and that was pretty much it.
I'm Anish Shroff on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right. right, we are back here at the Scoreboard. WSIC 1059 100.7 FM. Video to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website, WSICnews.com. Give me a call, 704-873-1400. Lot to get to still. We just passed the halfway mark of the show today. Man, it flies by pretty quick when you're talking about a lot of different sports. But we're going to continue, keep it going right down the line here. I want to talk the NBA in-season tournament. Yeah, I know. It's a really interesting thing. I don't know if you care about it. I don't even know if I care about it. But I just find this funny. The Hornets play today. That's not what I find funny. Ha ha ha, the Hornets play today. What I find funny is that currently the Charlotte Hornets are 3-6. 13th worst team in the Eastern Conference. But when you look at the in-season tournament, Group B, Charlotte Hornets, Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, and Washington Wizards. The Hornets are leading that group. What? They're 1-0. I don't get it. I would think it'd be absolutely hilarious if a team like the Hornets went and won the NBA in-season cup and then missed the playoffs. I really hope that happens because I don't think the NBA would want that, number one. And I think that the chaos that would come out of that would just be too much fun. Imagine the Hornets win the in-season cup just because they won some games on a random Tuesday and Friday. So they now play their next in-season cup game. That is tonight. It is at home. It is right here. It's against Miami. And Miami 1-0 in the in-season cup. So if Milwaukee loses their next one, Charlotte could own the one seed, the top seed in the East B group. Do we care about this in-season tournament? Do we care about the NBA still? Like, basketball is in a really weird spot. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked to Ralph Lawler, longtime commentator for the LA Clippers. And he talked a lot about some of the rule changes and the way that today's player thinks about the game. And as much as the NBA is in the headlines for the wrong things over the past few years, I think more than anything, the style of play has to do with the decline in popularity in basketball. Just watch an NBA game now. No defense, just throwing up three-pointers. I mean, the only player who's really like a classic NBA basketball player is Nikola Jokic. He does everything good. He could play inside, he could play the post, he could shoot, he could pass, he could hit threes. He's smart on defense. That's a player that people like to watch. When you watch regular NBA game, let's say you watch the Hornets, and they're playing the Wizards, a random team. It's not real basketball. It's just guys running up and down the court, throwing up three-pointers. There's a way to fix this. There has to be a way to fix this because basketball it's interesting. It's fun. It's had its moment. And I don't know if we're going to get back to what it was in the 90s when Jordan was playing, but maybe if we allowed the players to be a little bit more physical with each other, get out and guard on the perimeter, maybe that'll bring some entertainment back into the NBA. We have a caller into the studio here. Let's go ahead and take that one. Thanks for calling the Scoreboard. What's your name? What do you have for me today?
Hey, Joe, it's Zach again. I love the NBA talk. I just wanted to pipe in here and see, I'd love to watch the in-season tournament, but I'm just having a little trouble seeing the players on the court.
What do you mean by that?
The courts are terrible. I don't know if you've caught any of these. I mean, they match the uniform. It's like watching a Boise State football game
or you want
basketball version.
Or you want a deep cut, Zach. It's like watching a Pine Lake Prep football game at home.
Well, at least they wear a different color
that was too
uniform.
far. That was too far. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call
they
out.
wear a different color. I mean, good God,
You know-
literally have the Hornets wearing blue uniforms on a bright blue court. It literally is a person who is colorblind's nightmare.
It reminds me of when the NFL did the color rush uniforms, and they had the Bills and the Jets in these bright uniform colors, and the colorblind
red and green,
and the
that was
colorblind
terrible.
community was like, we can't see the game. It does remind me of that. Those courts are ugly. I don't know who okayed this, and I guess they did it just to get a different feel, a different look, so that it felt differently being in an in-season tournament game versus a regular season game with no meaning. But it's a bad look. It really is.
Is there any stats on? I mean, maybe this is something you and I can do in a deeper dive, but are they trying to get more people to come to the game in person versus who they have eyes on it? Because Charlotte, I don't think that Charlotte has many eyes locally.
I don't know if it's for in person or if it's for TV viewing. I would think that they're trying to get more TV viewership because they're trying to say, hey, look, this is a regular season game in the middle of the season that has meaning. We are in the middle of November, famously football season, but this is Tuesday. Tuesday is a day where there's really not football on. So they put this here for eyes on their sport. I don't know if it's going to be something that they were hoping to get more in-person attendance, which I'm sure once we're done with season one of the in-season tournament, we'll be able to go back and look and say, all right, during the regular season, we average this many fans. This is how many fans we average during the in-season tournament game. It's going to take a little bit of time to get those stats, but I really think that it was more for TV viewership because they got to bring eyes to the sport in a month other than March and April and May.
That's a good point. Well, always appreciate the time, Joe. You have a great rest of your day, man. Love the show. Have a good one.
Absolutely, and always appreciate you calling in, Zach. Call in anytime. And anybody else out there who has an opinion on the in-season tournament versus the just regular season games. I don't even know if it really makes a difference that the in-season tournament games count towards the regular season standings. I think that's kind of besides the point, really splitting hairs at the end of the day. I just think that they're trying, and the NBA needs to try because it shows in the ratings that year after year, less and less eyes are on the sport. All right, we are coming up on our commercial break. Let me go ahead and get the music pumping because I know everybody loves hearing that bumper music right there. Yeah! This has been the Scoreboard, segment 3, just about wrapped up here. Stay tuned because we have one more segment to go. This isn't the end of the show. 704-873-1400 is the phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about. When we come back, a little bit of MLB news from yesterday and today, as well as an update on the NHL standings, and we will look forward to Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. This is the Scoreboard on WSIC. We'll be back after this.
Keep it right here. There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Santa is coming to town. Come out to Birkdale Village from 2 to 7 p.m. this Saturday, the 18th. WSIC will be broadcasting live from the event. Activity Row, Birkdale on Ice, beer garden, dance performances, and the tree lighting parade. Dance away the end of the night with live music this Saturday. The fun begins at 2 p.m. and the tree lighting ceremony starts at 6. For more info, visit birkdalevillage.com. It is the last weekend of the season for the Davidson Farmers Market. Come out and enjoy the wonderful local vendors. Saturday from 9 until noon, the last weekend of the year for Davidson Farmers Market. For more info, visit davidsonfarmersmarket.org. Hit songs from the 1950s will have you wanting to boogie all night long. The Winter Dance Party this Saturday night, Charles Mack Citizen Center. Doors open at 6. For more info and to purchase tickets, visit ourtownstage.com. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few are coming to Kane Center for the Arts this Saturday. Mike Ferris is a Dove Award winning artist. Americana, rock, blues, and gospel. Come enjoy a fun night of great music. Mike Ferris and the Fortunate Few this Saturday. Doors open at 7 p.m. kanearts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th. Jousting nights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Special weather announcement this evening. There is an increased fire danger until about 7 p.m. this evening. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with that low temperature around 38 degrees. Wednesday is going to be a little bit chillier. We're all going to be mostly cloudy and that high temperature only getting up near 57. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Are you curious about the new development down the street? Wondering what's going on in your community? I'm Bill Russell, host of Town Talk. Join me each Wednesday afternoon, 4 to 5 p.m. here on WSIC as we chat with elected leaders, town staff, business owners, developers, and nonprofit leaders who are shaping our community. Town Talk, each Wednesday at 4 on WSIC.
Your home for non-stop Christmas music.
Ho, ho, ho!
Starting at 12 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
Ow! Son of a nutcracker!
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's The Scoreboard on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, final segment here today on The Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. All right, a little bit of news going on in the world of sports. This is going to be our late-breaking news segment, I guess you want to call it. Number one, this one has to do with NASCAR. Here's a fun one. Retired NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick buys Ricky Bobby estate. Newly retired NASCAR driver Kevin Harvick and his wife have recently bought the home made famous for its appearance in the movie Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. And that house is right off Lake Norman in Cornelius. I've actually seen the house before. It's pretty crazy. Massive. Did some work there once. But, yeah, so Kevin Harvick, he's going to stay in the area, which I think is, probably it was a known thing. He wasn't ever going to go far. But that's just an interesting story that I thought would be fun to bring up. I have also some updates from yearly awards in the MLB. Yesterday, and this is how it works. Yesterday was Monday. They announced the Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year winners. Today, Tuesday, they're announcing the Manager of the Year winners. Tomorrow will be the Cy Young winners, and Thursday we will end with the MVP winners. So yesterday, Corbin Carroll, Gunnar Henderson, winners of the Rookie of the Year. They were both unanimous Rookie of the Year winners. And I was trying to find out if that had ever happened before, where the AL and NL Rookie of the Years were both unanimous. I couldn't find it. It's kind of a weird, quirky stat that, I mean, I would need like a whole research team or something to be able to figure that one out, to be honest with you. But the Manager of the Year awards, as we have right now, one of them has been released. Marlins boss Skip Schumacher wins the NL top dog for Manager of the Year. Congratulations to him. The Marlins had a really good year this year, and it's well-deserved. So Skip Schumacher, that is your NL Rookie of the Year. I don't know who the AL is yet. It hasn't been announced. I'm sure that's one that's going to be announced literally 5 minutes after we get off air here. It always seems to happen like that. But we are, we're going to continue to talk about what's going on. I have an update on a hockey story that we didn't really give too much time to because there was some controversy, I guess, surrounding, maybe not controversy, but just some question marks surrounding it. The European hockey player, Adam Johnson, who had his throat slashed by a skate blade. Well, there is actually an update to that story now, and a man has been arrested here in the UK earlier today on manslaughter charges. That being the player, Matt Petgrave. He was the one whose skate blade ended up getting up near the neck area. Now, I don't know if this is something where we're going to see a actual murder charge brought on. It's really touchy right now because if you watch the video, it's weird. It's a weird movement that gets his skate blade up near the neck area, but I don't think there was any intent to kill or anything like that. And I'm not familiar with the UK's manslaughter laws. I'm pretty sure manslaughter is yes, somebody died, but it was an accident. I think. I'm not a legal expert, so if there is a legal expert listening, maybe Justin Kazepis, because he was a lawyer. I don't know if this was his kind of law, but, somebody let me know what the UK manslaughter laws are. But that is the update that we have. So an arrest has been made. No real update other than that. But definitely wanting to continue to update you on that one because that is a big story in sports right now. A player passed away on the ice, and it's really upsetting because we saw last year a player almost pass away in a football game on live TV right here in the U.S. So you never want to see that, and I know it's a really upsetting situation, and we just hope that the family for Adam Johnson is doing okay in this time because there's a lot of stories about what's going on, and I'm sure it's not easy for them. Another headline here, Shohei Ohtani and 6 others have rejected their qualifying offers, electing to remain free agents. So the qualifying offer is hey, we're going to qualify you. Here's a 1-year, $20 million contract. Do you want it? 6 players said no. In addition to Shohei Ohtani, outfielder Cody Bellinger, pitchers Josh Hader, Blake Snell, Aaron Nola, Sonny Gray, and third baseman Matt Chapman. By making the qualifying offer, a team would receive an additional selection in next July's amateur draft if the player signs elsewhere. So it's kind of like a compensation pick like the NFL does for when players leave and you lose talent. You get like a 4th, 5th, 6th round compensation pick. I don't know where Ohtani's going to go. It sounds like the Dodgers are starting to emerge as the favorite, and I don't like that. I don't know if the rest of the MLB fan base likes that. I'd like to see Shohei go somewhere unexpected. Milwaukee, for instance. I don't know. It's just a team that I pulled out of the hat. I'm like, yeah, go to Milwaukee. Go to Toronto, Go have fun somewhere else. Don't go to the Dodgers and just, jump on a team that's already good. I don't find that fun. I know. I'm just kidding around. It seems like the Dodgers are the most likely team for Shohei to end up with. And they would be, crazy not to do it. Now, I've heard that, and I've seen it being reported that the offer that Shohei's expecting to get is going to have to be high in total money, but he's okay with accepting a shorter-term deal. Now, this might be a benefit for some teams because we've talked about it extensively, especially during the summer. Shohei is going to need Tommy John surgery. He's not pitching next year. He's going to be able to hit, but he's not going to be pitching. So maybe a shorter contract with a high average annual value, a high year-by-year salary is going to be the way that these teams approach this. And then once he's healthy in a year or two, he's not going to pitch this year. It's going to be his first year back pitching next year. Probably after year 3 is when we're really going to be able to say, okay, he is still a two-way player. And it's not like Shohei Ohtani is a young player at this point. He's 29 years old. Next year, he's going to be 30. We're getting on the wrong side of 30 here. By the time we decide, all right, he's ready. He's got the arm back. He's still got the bat. It'll be 33 maybe if he gets a 3-4 year deal. I don't know where we go from here with Ohtani, but I do expect a big contract for him nonetheless, because he's going to bring fans. One way or another, he's going to bring fans. We're towards the end of the show here today. Man, it really flew by fast. I was going to talk a little bit of hockey today. We didn't really have time to get to it. Just going around and, updating the standings because you gotta stay informed. The Hurricanes still 9-6-0, 18 points in 15 games to start the year. We have a little bit of a break in the schedule, but for a lot of teams, it's kind of quirky the way the schedule is made up this year. But the next game for the Hurricanes is actually tomorrow at 7:30. They'll be taking on the Flyers that game at home. And, they've had 3 days off in a row, which is, you take the 3 days off when you get it, but it's not something that's going to happen all the time. And hopefully they get back on the winning streak because the Metro Division, it's tight. 18 points is pretty good, but right behind them, 16, 15, 15, 14, 13. I mean, everybody's right there in the Metro. We knew it was going to be a close division this year, and there was going to be a little bit of shuffling, hence why Pittsburgh started off so poor. Remember, I said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Pittsburgh is last in the Metro right now. Don't expect for that to stay. And now all of a sudden, here they are, 7-6. They're up to 6th in the division. And they're playing good hockey. It's going to be a very, very competitive Metro division this year. So Carolina needs to stay healthy and continue staying hot. Thanks for tuning in today to the Scoreboard on WSIC. Had fun as always. Hope everybody enjoyed. Be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of news to talk about. I'll see you then. Until then, have a good one, everyone.